Hello, welcome to F.A.L.L.O.U.T.P.O.D.C.A.S.T podcast episode 129, aka Never Bored with ESP Medium Discord. It's a futile fall showdown with all 525 songs going head to head. We are in round two, annotated fall, RIP, joined as always by the Pemberton Walker, Mr. Alistair Aspinall. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I've been awake for about 5 minutes.
Brilliant. So top draw commentary expected this evening.
Definitely.
And joined by a good friend from many years past, Mr. Lee Fairclough, once of Wigan Town, now of Melbourne, Australia. How you doing, Lee?
Yeah, it's good. Cheers, Brendan. Lovely to speak to you both again, lads. Don't get stopping sentimental, but yeah, great to see you.
Very good. So, you're saying that you've never been a huge Fall fan, but what is your kind of remembrance or your story with this band?
Just Mark E. Smith, being Mark E. Smith, really. I'm embarrassed to say, all I've got by them is like Victoria 12-inch. I think that's it. That's all I've ever bought. And I think, as I was about before, I always just feel a bit overwhelmed, I think, because I knew if I needed to get into them, there's a lot to listen to, isn't there?
Yeah.
Take up a big chunk of my life.
What did you make of this playlist tonight? I'm guessing you probably didn't know any of them. You might have heard one of the early ones before, maybe, but
yeah, I think I've done like Psychick, Dancehall, that kind of rung a bell as well. But really enjoyed him, and I thought I felt a bit of a fool. Really, he's kind of opened my eyes a bit, and I also get cracking on listening to him, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it'll come up in the course of the show, I'm sure, but at least four of these tracks here are good starting points. Like if you go the records that they're on, like obviously Dragnet and that Country on the Click, the Green-Eyed Loco Man is off, and it's good. So we'll crack on. So tonight we have got Hittite Man up against Taking Off, Psychick Dancehall versus Lay of the Land, and Green-Eyed Loco Man versus Mike's Love Xexagon. Let's have a listen first to Hittite Man, which I think is off Remit, if I'm not mistaken, Alistair. Is that correct?
I don't know.
from the ground, white robes, it says you don't have man. It's like, man, you have no idea about the gibbous morons you have unloaded on this earth. He says, goodbye, Stacy. He says, goodbye, Stacy.
You have no idea about the gibbous morons you have lollied. Alistair, what do you make of Hittite Man?
I like it. It's good, that. When I was listening to it, I was thinking, is that slap bass on there? Or is it just like is it a quick progression to the riff or something like that? It works, whatever it is, but it's a nice it's a long one, but it's entertaining. You got like surfy guitar going on, very nice sort of synth, Mark King level 42 bass. Drums are a bit kind of like standard, but it all kind of like fits together quite well. Would have been nice to add the vocals in the red a bit for the growly bits. And, if it had gone a bit mad as well, a bit, like how Das Boot does, because of the length of the song, there's plenty of space for that. That'd have been great, yeah. And you get the Gibson Moon in there, don't you?
Indeed. Very nice indeed. So, Lee, I imagine this isn't standard fare. Not what one would expect from a fall tune if you were coming to it cold, maybe, but what were your thoughts?
No, not really. I'm speaking as a non-musician here, so humour me. But I've just written mine with just general words, ramblings.
Good.
Review. I put, it's funny you're saying surf guitar, I put Lynn Grayish, Sounds a bit Lingray guitar-wise. Who are Stacey, Julia, and Davey? And I sort of mentioned Chile as well. And I feel like Jilly Gould in it. I put Haunting Atacama Desert. That kind of desert rocky kind of guitar stuff sound as well. Shimmering, it was a word I used. And putting brackets, does he replicate the sun?
Yes. Beautiful.
I probably got a bit carried away there, I'll be honest with you. Disappeared up my own tracks there. But what was I put? Yeah, pounding drums, hypnotic. Had a bit in the background sounding like Tommy from the 13th Floor Elevators used to play the jug.
Right.
Sounds going on a bit. And also put Mark E. Smith had a few. But the more I listen to the Fall, I realise there's possibly a theme coming on there.
He'd had a few on most tracks, yeah.
Yeah. I figured that.
So this came out like, he would been in his mid-50s. He'd been at it for, nearly 40 years at that point. And he's doing some interesting stuff with his voice. Like when he talks of this Stacey thing, he's doing that really soft kind of it's really silly kind of voices that he started doing towards the end. But yeah, very slinky groovy. Yeah, the desert thing for sure. We've talked about that a few times. The lad Peter Greenway was playing the guitar at the time. He has a few songs that are like this, nice, spacious, and then they've got that kind of guitar-y kind of what. We've likened it to that band Tinwarian before. I don't know if you've come across them.
I'll put them down and we think a bit of paper.
Yeah. I'm going to play one of their tracks because I haven't listened this afternoon because I'm always like, every time we talk about it, I'm going to have a listen because I don't imagine there's a song that's really like it. But
the first LP is my favourite of the Radio Tisda sessions.
Right.
But yeah, the rhythm's completely out. It's not really like Tinwarian when. But yeah, there is a desert bluesy kind of feel to it, but it's they're a bit more kind of in your face. But the guy out of them guitar player, he was trained up by Colonel Gaddafi to fight guerrilla warfare and was shot about 10 times because he's going to like battle with his guitar strapped to his back and they're like, shoot him with a guitar.
It would slow you down and probably give you make you a little bit of a target. But at the end of the day, you do need that riffage when you're at war. So Mez is in imperial form. He's brilliant, and there's these sweet kind of chords. Even the strummed kind of those big guitar lines. I didn't think they needed the actual break quite as much. Where it goes into the kind of like it breaks into something with a little bit more like rocky kind of. And I would have liked the drums to be probably a little bit bigger. It sounds like Mark Smith is hacking up his lungs towards the end in the last few seconds, but I imagine that's how a lot of songs finished. Let's have a bit of a listen to the Tinwarian. Is that how I say it? I never know how to say it.
That's why I didn't say it, because I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, Tinwarian. Is that how you're saying it?
Tinwarian.
Here we go, Ellie. You can also enjoy some Japanese adverts while... yeah, they're always on. Oh, I have to share my screen, otherwise you can't see it, so you can't... I'm new to this. Adverts. New to this. Only 140 episodes in.
What? Double figures.
Very nice. We were saying, in terms of Smith, he probably hadn't heard it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the younger lads in the band had heard this and it was a bit of an influence. So it's hard to say, really.
I did think so with some of the guitar as well. The sparks. It's a bit like, because I like Can. I'm a bit of a Can fan. It's a bit like Michael Caroli, some of his stuff, just kind of.
Oh yeah. No, I mean that's. All the way through the career, Can and Noi and all that krautrock stuff's been a big influence. We had Damo Suzuki on just before he passed away. We talked to him on here.
Oh, right.
Bonkers.
Right. I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah. It was amazing, but Michael Caroli, of course. Very unique. So I don't know. The later band weren't quite as influenced as maybe some of the earlier stuff, but still. Yeah, so Stu, our friend on the other side, says a lovely ditty, all grimy and grim. Not the foggiest what he's going on about, but I feel it. A lovely atmospherics, and I love the rhythm section and squelches. Good shit. Hittite man emerges from the ground, white robes. He says, "You don't hear me, Hittite man," into sand. He says, "Debt does not exist. Goodbye, Stacy and Julie, lost in Chile. Pilgrim out of mind, out of depths. Death does not exist." Hittite man emerges from the sand. "You have no idea about the gibbous morons you have unloaded on this earth." He says, "Goodbye, Stacy, lost in Chile. Debt does not exist." Scalded crucifix. As I'm sure you all know, the Hittites were based in what is now Turkey in the 2nd millennium BCE, and whether or not they actually had debt is still open to debate. Yes. Anything else to add? Michael E has given his votes, but we don't know what he thinks. I think as Christmas approaches, people are a little busy. Hope everyone's doing well out there. But shall we move on?
Yeah, I think that's my rambling.
Take that as a yes. Alistair's still on mute and he's running around his house.
Not my house.
Running around someone's house. He definitely is a little bit of Saturday morning TV going on there. He is our Cheggers, isn't he? He's out there investigating.
Going live when the 5-star were on. Can you remember that classic match?
Why 5-star so shit?
Brilliant. All right. Well, it's up against Taking Off, which is another one by the Fall, surprisingly enough.
自分のルーツを発見しよう。
Brilliant. It's tickling you there, isn't it, Lee? What do you make of this one?
Fantastic, genius. I read me notes again because I've no memory these days. Just my wife likes it. I was playing it the other day. Usually she says, "What's this?" Sometimes I'm listening to Alistair stuff. What's this you're listening to? Which I take as a compliment because it means I like it. She said, "Good." I wondered, what do Fall fans think of it? It's quite accessible, isn't it? I mean,
so it's off first. That's GB, which I think was 2011 maybe, and it's one of the worst regarded albums. And
I stupidly looked, and once I heard, because I realised the song. I thought, I'll look at the album, see what. So I went on like Pitchfork and a few other things, and it seems like everyone hates it.
It was one of those so the lads who he was with for the last 5 or 6 years, maybe a bit longer than that, actually, last decade. Pretty solid lineup. This was like the 2nd or 3rd record together, and maybe more than that. Maybe I think it's the 3rd record together, and was kind of seen as a bit of a bit of a kind of treading water kind of thing. Like they weren't necessarily doing anything different or new from what they'd done before. And basically the songs just aren't, like, on the whole, they're not that great. They're pretty kind of like, they had a bit of a habit at times to go in a little bit of a pub rocky kind of direction, but this is definitely a bit more indie and a little bit more sprightly. I mean, it's one of the best tunes on the record for me.
I'd
Yeah,
agree.
well,
Sorry.
Alistair agreed. He agreed with
Yeah.
you. We're all in agreement. It's a good tune
yeah.
off a bad record.
No, I was looking at the clip as well. I know it's about the song. I was looking at the clip as well, and apparently it's like a Milos Forman film. I think is it taken from that the title? I think his first film. But
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm going off on a tangent here. I'm sorry,
Please
lads.
do. Please do.
But Werner Herzog, he says, I credit, and I just put Klaus Kinski was a nutter. That's what I was just listening to.
Yeah, it was a bit, yeah.
Kinski was a nutter. He was a nutcase, and I'm sure him and
Absolutely,
Smith would have got along very well together
He was great.
until they killed each other. What's that, Al?
He was great in a gear of Wrath of God.
Oh, he was, wasn't he? And Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, yeah, it's original, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What did I put? My wife said, because she's walking past, sorry, my wife said, when she's walking past.
My wife.
Yeah, the wife. I've got in the phone, it's the wife. As she's walking past, she said, do you reckon it's going to be like Iggy? Yeah. And I don't know about that, to be honest with you. Possibly.
I mean, big influence for sure. You know, we're hitting all the big ones early on. We've had Can, and now we've got the Stooges. I mean, they don't that. I mean, huge influence on the fall. But by this point, yeah, I'd say not directly, but definitely the influence is still there.
So it's probably because I'm new to this. You've had this discussion like a quarter of a century ago, haven't you? So yeah. So
I mean, there's musically as well. They rip off the Stooges several times. There's at least 4 or 5 tracks that do just "I Want to Be Your Dog," like.
All right.
Note for note, but
because I referenced 1970 later on as well. So
well, there's one on that album that you'll come to later that is even more like I basically played 1970 last time it came up because the break is almost exactly the same, but you know they make it their own. So it's
yeah, and everything comes from somewhere, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, I reckon this is one of the it's almost got an Eastern kind of riffage kind of thing going on, not as explicitly as Hittite Man, but on top of a very cheeky kind of 60s light kind of like indie-ish thing. And again, I know you said it's accessible. Yeah, it's definitely more in line with kind of a lighter indie sound that you didn't get a lot from the Fall, especially earlier on. They're way more known for those heavier bass led kind of things, but at this point there was definitely some of those things coming up. I can imagine that Smith, from his taste, might not have been particularly into this tune itself, but he let it go, put it on the record. So yeah, I reckon it should have been a couple of minutes though. For it's probably a bit longer than it needed to be, but nice tune. It's just really, as with many of these things, it's just a bed for Smith to kind of ramble all over, and as always, he just absolutely beautiful stuff. Take Off, 6 p.m. Bonjela complexion. Stress at 4 is for bed. Silence, 6 p.m. Bonjela complexion. To stress, to spoon, ersatz, invest, GB, 8 p.m. Tidy Italian. Grating threefold, you never told me, Simon, about the 40-carat scum at Newquay train station. It's like, there's a theme going on. What was the one that said, Hittite Man, you have no idea about the gibbous moorings you have unloaded on this earth. It's, there's a theme. Absolutely brilliant. Alistair, what do you make of Take Off?
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? It's it starts off with loads of like reverby guitar with a delay, and you get the sort of like nice sort of subtle synth kicking in. And what the bass is doing is all right as well. It's quite inventive, really. Like, he's playing around all over the place, a bit jazzy kind of approach to it. Drums very kind of like Muse, though. A bit of guitar noise to liven things up in it as well. It does the like quiet thing a lot. Gets a bit jammy, rocky, pubby towards the end. But yeah, it's not a bad effort. And as you said, like considering it's off Sats GB, it's one of the better ones.
It is. It's up there with Nate Will Not Return, which is a song where every single line rhymes with the word Nate, and is apparently about the TV show Gossip Girl. But sadly, I think that's already gone out. Stuart says, all right, it's quite a pleasant track and funky, and if memory serves me right, one of the better off the record. Guitar's a bit much, sounds kind of like me badly improvising a blues lick, and I would not submit others to that. Feels like it's done everything to set out by the 2-minute mark. Yes, I agree. Yeah, a couple of minutes. but a nice enough tune indeed. And somebody on the Annotated Fall said, and they said Brendan serves up some noteworthiness, but I was like, is that me? Did I write that? Lee, did you ever? So the Annotated Fall, did you come across that on your this week while you were looking into the songs and stuff?
What was that? Sorry.
It's a site called the Annotated Fall. It's all the lyrics.
No. But I will do. Yeah.
Sadly, it crashed and burned about 2 months ago, so we've outlived it. But it's still up there on the Internet Archive as a kind of. But it basically goes through the lyrics and it kind of picks apart what they might be about and has some really interesting stuff. And on there, somebody has linked as we got another big influence here. Beefheart is, a massive influence on the Fall. And somebody said that Neon Meat Dream of an Octofish has similar lyrics with ingest, inspects and speckled, spec-led speculations. I'm not sure. It's a bit stretch rise now, Alistair.
Incest.
Fast and bulbous.
Bulbous, tapered. Also a tin teardrop.
Indeed. So that means that we've got to take our first vote of the evening. So Lee, which one of these two tracks would you put through into the next round of this competition?
I'll probably go. I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but Hittite, man.
Very good.
I'll go for that because, like you said, taking off, probably outstays as welcome a bit. Slightly cheesy finish. Again, back to the wine again. But okay, that's mine.
Beautiful. Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I'm going with Hittite Man, and Stuart has. And interestingly enough, Michael Lee has gone for Sir William Ray, which isn't even in the list tonight. So I'm guessing he means Hittite Man because that's what the video for some reason does say Sir William Ray on it, but it's actually Hittite Man. So all is forgiven, Michael. You made the right choice. Which way are you going, Alistair?
I'll go Hittite Man as well.
All right, it's a rout, isn't it? Taking off didn't deserve such a beating, but that's such is life, isn't it? So it takes the next.
Sorry, lads. I did say Hittite Man. It just sounds like Hittite Man.
Hittite, you said, I believe. Hittite, but that's okay. No judgment. No judgment.
Okay, carry
on. Psychick Dancehall. The big tune of the evening, but is it going to do the job? Oof, making us pay here with these adverts.
Aren't they?
They just. Is there anybody there?
Is there anybody there? Yeah!
What a tune. What a bloody tune. Cracking riff. Anybody there chant a popping bass and those 16ths on the hi-hats. Pocket. Deep in the pocket with that bass groove and a wonky bridge where nobody is on time. And just in time, they all come back in for the chorus. It'd be a garage rock classic if it was sung by Wayne Knight and the Nightmares or some other imaginary garage rock band. Alistair, what does Psychick Dancehall do for you?
Toffee Crisp, eh? Yeah, it's good. Was that Toffee Crisp advert going at the time? Is that where they got that from?
I wouldn't like to say.
Just coincidence? I don't know. I don't have no idea. Yeah, it's brilliant though, and it's a bit of a classic. It takes a while for the vocals to properly kick in. You got there's anybody there a bit at the beginning, but yeah, there's a lot going on in it. The sound recording of it though is pretty rough, really.
It's the same lad who goes on about how much he loves Dragnet and how rough it sounds, and then as soon as a song off Dragnet comes up, he talks about how shit it sounds.
Well, I was just thinking back to that Paul Anley book where he was going on about, is it Mazda who recorded? Yeah, him saying it sounded like came through a transistor radio, or like you're listening to it through a transistor radio, and I can see that. And I think like the drums in particular, not recorded that well. It's like the cymbals and the hi-hat are really kind of in your face, a little bit more than it needs to be, but the song itself is brilliant. You know, if you it kind of adds to it, actually, the sort of wonkiness, the crappiness of that sound to like what they're pushing. It's not meant to be polished, it's not meant to be perfect. But yeah, a bit of a build up to it. But when the chorus kicks in, it's just like, whoa, yeah. And then you get all some of that wanky guitar playing that you was on about. That really works for me. But yeah, great tune. Recorded like cack, fucking classic.
Brilliant, isn't it? Lady,
Yeah.
what's this one do for you?
I think Alistair finishing with recording like cack fucking classic. I can't really improve on that, really.
It tells you more about him
Yeah,
than the band.
Brilliant. Marky Smith sounds really young, and I think he was, wasn't he?
I think this would have been 80. Was it 81? Maybe Dragnet.
I feel like
No,
early 20.
79. So yeah, he would have been 20 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just brilliant. I put here Alistair drums. He's answered my question. I was going to say what he thinks of the drumming on it, and
the drumming's great. You know, it's the same.
Yeah.
So the drums on this are Mike Lee, who was the lad who played drums on the first album, Carl Burton's very good drummer, left, and they got Mike Lee, and it was essentially a cabaret lad, and he only did one album with him and then left. But you wouldn't know it from this. He fits in really well. It's got a really nice kind of garagey rock beat for sure.
And he used to do the somersault thing, didn't he, over his kit?
Apparently that was his trick. He would. He's a big teddy boy lad. If you see the pictures, he just totally doesn't fit in with the band at all. It's like there's these like whiny, like the scrawny little punks, and then this teddy boy stood in the middle of them. So
like he should have been in mud or Shiwaddy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just it sounds a bit injury. I thought a bit of that was good. Yeah, Alistair drums, and I like I said, the kind of shitty, slightly discordant guitar. Because I grew up listening to Half Man Half Biscuit, and it just kind of I've still got a soft spot for that kind of guitar.
Oh yeah.
But I loved it. Yeah, brilliant track, absolutely brilliant.
I was at a pub in Ormskirk last night. Had a great big massive Half Man Half Biscuit poster in there.
Oh, nice.
You know, okay.
Along with there was one from a gig at the Planet X in Liverpool, and it was Bolt Thrower were playing, Carcass, Doom, a couple of other big hitters, and then Jail Cell Recipes.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a photo of that one. I'll send it to Dave Arnold.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads, I'm going off a bit here, but Steve Hanley, his book, is it worth a read? Or
oh yeah.
We
a lot of them for me.
We read Steve's. Go on, Al, what did you think of Steve's? Because we just read Paul's as well, right? So
yeah, I really like Steve's because his humour, it's like dry humour in there, comes across quite well, and I think there's none of them's like 100% accurate. I think the mist of time kind of cloud the memory, but I think it's definitely an honest book.
It's great, a lot of fun, great stories. Yeah, well worth the read. Yeah. So Stu says, Psychick Dancehall, nothing to complain about here. It's a weird mismatch of some pop sensibilities combined with murky production and musical terms you would never reasonably expect to hear in a pop song. The opening bass line is so effing good. I think overexposure has taken the edge off it a bit for me nowadays, but it's a great tune regardless. My garden is made of stone. There's a computer center over the road. I saw a monster on the roof. Its colors glowed on the roof. They have no records. They know your questions about no words. Just stumble to the waves. When I'm dead and gone, my vibrations will live on in vibes, not vinyl, through the years. And people will dance my waves. You've got to come for a mental orgasm. Bit saucy there, didn't he? You got a bit saucy there towards the end.
Next week, if you're gonna have a mental orgasm.
Exactly. So apparently there's a few of them. Wade in K, who was the manager at the time, and Martin Brammer, who's the guitarist just around that era. Wade in that in Presswich there was a computer center, and there was also a Psychick Christian Psychick club that you could go. And Smith said that these psychic women would stop me coming out and say, "You've got it, come to our meeting." Whereas Brahma says that there was a spiritualist church in Prestwich called the Questers Psychic Disco. It was a rough little dive. I didn't know Mark at that point, and he never went. But the outside of Prestwich became a strong theme in his writing. And Danny, our friend who does a lot of research, has actually found a cutting from a newspaper that actually advertises this. What we got here? Let me try and zoom in a bit. Advertises the Questers 10 to 16 years Mona Lodge Psychic Center Disco. So psychic dancehall indeed. Such is the internet with all of its knowledge and mystery. Oh, good tune though, great tune. Anything else to add, or shall we move on to what it's up against?
Happy to move on.
Let's do it. It is up against Lay of the Land from the wonderful and frightening world of the Fall. Just a few short years later, but many lineup changes. And interestingly, it also starts with a weird chant that relates to possibly psychic goings on.
Armageddon. This beautiful tree. Boo-hoo. Give up living.
What's the lie of the land, my son?
Aye. Lay of the Land. What's it do to you?
Lay of the Land, all right. I liked it. I said, who's the bloke at the beginning? Bass line was fantastic. Was that Steve Hanley? Was it?
Oh yeah. All this stuff, yeah.
Brilliant. And I hate myself for doing this. I'm mentioning bands, I know. And I was on by the Stooges before, and it was like 1970. I think why I liked it, it just reminds me of 1970s. It's got that drive on it.
Oh, yeah.
The drums are out front. The bass line's just cracking on and keeping it going. Musical terms here. And at the very start, it reminded me a bit of Stonehenge from Spinal Tap. And it reminded me, I've not seen it for ages. And I need to go back and watch Spinal Tap because I watched Best in Show a while ago, but I'll have to go back and watch Spinal Tap because it's fantastic, isn't it? And my wife's from Surrey as well. They mentioned something about Surrey in the lyrics.
Nice.
Right, so I think that's it for me.
Does your wife know? Does your wife know the music of Omar Suleiman?
Not that I'm aware of. I can ask her.
She's from Surrey, not Syria.
Oh, sorry. Oh. Oh, get me cold. Christ. So I've been in Australia for a while. I'm a bit blunt on these things. So
nice, good. Alistair, what do you make of Lay of the Land?
Brilliant, isn't it? I was thinking of Michael Clark TV performance. Where he's just running around on stage with his arse out, having a good old dance. But yeah, there's lots of energy in it, isn't there? The intro bit's great. I just think that there's a lot of comedy in that. And who is it who does the vocal on that at the beginning?
You sure it's Smith? Just in a voice, I think. I think it's just Smith. I've not heard it mentioned anywhere that it's someone else. So
no, I went to show myself, but it's very kind of like amusing. Get a bit dark, a bit creepy. kind of intro to it. But yeah, when it kicks in, you got that driving rockabilly rhythm, and you got Shanley dictating the tune with a sort of like high pitched bass. Quite often in the tinny droney guitar backing it, but like when that drops down, that's when it gets really kind of like the energy really kicks in. But yeah, the backing vocals as well sound a bit weird, but it's all good stuff. Yeah, but yeah, the nasty, beautiful guitar distortion at the end's brilliant. Just love this song, loads of energy. Toe-tapper, it's be a good one on the dance floor. See why Michael Clark liked it.
Indeed. It's got that. So the lay thing comes, I think, as a reference to Quatermass, which the John Mills version that was on the very last Quatermass they did, which is about like aliens coming down and stuff. So I think it's a reference to that. Yeah, I think Smith does the original vocals. Oh, and you were asking about the Toffee Crisp earlier. Toffee Crisp advert was out in '85, so a good like 5 or 6 years after.
Precog,
isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's got that kind of, it lulls you in with that long lay bit and the mumble and stuff, and then it just launches into a brilliant kind of pop tune. Kind of Mez is kind of mumbly, because I think at this point they'd started to make even more of a turn into kind of the poppy stuff. This is the first record where Brix was on it, like featuring properly, and she wrote this song. So with Smith, so it's the whole of Wonderful and Frightening is actually a really sweet.
She's not verted by language, which
she
is
does
before
Hotel
that.
Blodell. But she's not really on it. But Wonderful Frightening is the first one where she does the whole record together with them and wrote a few of the songs. But yeah, she did arrive just before this. But this is the first one, and you can tell if you listen to those back to back. Perverted by Language and then Wonderful Frightening, they're very, very different sounding records, and but both really good. And yeah, I love the end bit where it just kind of almost there's another massive distorted riff just comes in over the top, and yeah, really nice. And I'm sure, as you would like very much, Alistair, clearly it was recorded in a single take or not many takes, because there's a bunch of fluff bass notes all the way through it, and because the bass is on its own a lot of the time, it's really easy to hear it. So it's like there's just bits where he's just flubbing like notes all the way through.
But it's that imperfection that I think adds that little bit of beauty to it, because it's like if something that's too polished, you just lose any kind of, I don't know, feeling in it.
No, it's got that spirit. It's beautiful. Stu said, I always like this one more than I think I am going to. I think the remastering job done added a bit of heft, and you can feel it. This should definitely be in the list for great drum workout ball. Oh yeah, I asked some drummers to come on and talk about their favorite drum songs from the fall, but we'll see whether that happens. No spoilers. I love the insistent pull of the bass line being rhythmically smacked in the head with a big fucking stick. Good shit. Lay Armageddon, this beautiful tree. On the buses up the stair by the television, pretend to learn. What's the lay of the land, my son? The last daft Briton on the street, he said the radio fuzz is dead and no longer reflects our daft fate. We'll leave this city, hit a quick coach, pick the town in Surrey, or Syria, if you prefer. There's no one there but crooks and death and curb crawlers of the worst order. And yeah, another one where he's taking pot shots at the man on the street, which is exactly what they expect. Even though these songs are 30 odd years apart, the themes are strong. Yeah, and Brix mentions in an interview that it was, they were watching the Quatermass, which is really good. The last Quatermass one, it's like it was late 70s.
Yeah. I mean, the Hammer ones were pretty decent as well, but the Mills one, nice.
Yeah, it's very different, but yeah, great stuff. And also she talks about the ley lines and how she was trying to make it a rockabilly kind of sounding to keep in with some of the earlier kind of fiery jack stuff like the Fall did, a little bit more rockabilly sound, or country and northern as they like to call it. But yeah, she's got it's definitely a different sensibility, and it's a really cool tune. This is a tough decision. These two songs, they're both really strong, and we shall see which one triumphs. Have I asked you both what you think of this song? I don't think I have I? Lee, what do you think of this song?
Oh, I think you have. I think did I?
Probably. I always forget. So, Alistair, have I asked you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do. That's enough.
Yeah,
We don't.
baseline 1970.
Oh yeah, yeah. You told
I
us.
think, like Alistair said, you could dance to it, and it could go on for a few more minutes. I reckon you carry on dancing, wouldn't you?
Oh, it's a good. It's a good tune, and yeah.
Can imagine it like live. It'd have been a right rocker.
Yeah, it'd be bang.
Oh yeah, I reckon they could have done. They could have done 10 minutes on that one for sure. Let's have a vote then. Which way you going, Lee?
Christ, can you go to Alistair first? I'm struggling with this one.
He's going to split his vote like a fucking
know.
criminal.
Like
Which
a
way
liberal.
you? Yeah, which way you going?
No, I'll split my thought like a no. Right, I'm going to make a difficult decision, and it is a really difficult decision. And Psychick Dancehall isn't going through for me. It's Lay of the Land.
What an unusual way to say that, but I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Psychick Dancehall is not going through. So from you're making me think here, Alistair. Does that mean that you are putting Lay of the Land through?
Yes, you are correct,
right.
Brendan.
Very good. Stuart has also gone with Lay of the Land, whereas Michael E, ever the wily character, has gone with Psychick Dancehall. I'm not going to make it easy for you, Lee. I'm going to ask you, which way are you going?
I'm toing and throwing, as I say, but it's Psychick Dancehall.
All right, very nice. I'm going to split my vote so that we can go to the fingers. I just want to experience that, so we can vote out of 3. They got exactly the same points. They both got 3 points each. So you can give each of these tunes a mark out of 3, and whoever gets the most actually goes through. So let's start with Lay of the Land out of 3. Lee and Alistair, how many points you going to give it? Show us the fingers. 3, 6, 7, 8. And Stu has given it 3, so that takes it to 11. Oh, Psychick Dancehall's got its work cut out. All right, Psychick Dancehall out of 3, 6, 7, 8. And Stu gave it 10, 2 and a bit. So Lay of the Land does go through. Justice is served. And that takes us to the final showdown of the evening, which is Green-Eyed Loco Man versus Mike Love's Xexagon. 2 great titles right there.
Stretching out, you have to shave first. And be a man, where do you stand? Agree on, local man. Agree on, local man. Where you're standing, I don't see you. Your reflected green eyes take 2 foot off you.
Green-Eyed Local Man. Alistair Aspinall of Wigan. What do you think of this song by Manchester post-punk legends, The Fall?
Right, never heard of them. I reminds me of some of their early stuff, actually. You know, like sort of infotainment type.
Yeah.
Something like M25. It's like a bit of a throwback. And you're kind of thinking, oh, this is just dead conventional. You know, not much going on. But then it starts getting a bit more like interesting when you get that piano bit that comes in. It's like that section. It's like the soundtrack to a concussion, which is the kind of stuff that draws me in. The rest of it's sort of like a bit kind of pedestrian, a little bit predictable, but it's all right. It's not a bad one. It's made it to the second round, but I don't think it's one of the strongest ones off Country on the Click. But it does have that bit with the piano that where it just goes a bit crazy. The I really like.
Yeah, I thought I played that bit because yeah, it stands out on that record. That record's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of messing around on it, so but that's nice in the middle there. Yeah, it's definitely a very they've done a lot of interesting stuff on top of it, but its core it's still just a chug along kind of pub rock kind of chugger at its heart, and it's got a bit more than a little bit of the Bunnymen in some of those kind of like guitar lines, and some nice hidden backing vocals down there in the mix. And yeah, that break.
Mention the Bunnymen there though,
Yeah.
because I remember when I was at school, Lee lending me Porcupine by the Bunnymen on
Right.
vinyl.
Imagine you never gave it back.
Oh no, I did. Yeah, I think you
All
got
right.
it back. All right,
Very
like,
good.
you probably lent
Not
him
like
a couple of well.
Not like your Frank tape, was it? You gave it back.
Oh, did I?
Lee, what do you make of the Loco Man?
I think pretty much what Alistair said, really. Quite, yeah. I think he said pedestrian, doesn't it? It chugs along. It's all like, the Manchester scene, but some of the crapper bands in there.
Yeah.
It's a bit bad, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, the kind of generic kind of. But then the bit in the middle, I liked because it was a bit bonkers. I thought that's kind of cool. I did right because I'm new to Mark's lyrics. With a rabbit skull on my right, is it symbolic? Is it opaque? Or am I too thick to make sense of it? I don't know. Is that just Mark's lyrics?
Yeah, we never know. They're very mysterious, right? As soon as you think you've got a handle on it, it's gone.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, good point. I said I could see live if it could be changed a bit. It could be brilliant, because there's quite a bit going on there, like backing vocals and blah blah. But I said a bit dancey. It was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, the version they did on the Peel session, which I've got here, I'll play it a bit because it's a little bit more guitar-y, which I think does suit it, but it doesn't really. Yeah, it's kind of like they've dressed it up, but at its core, it's not really a very interesting song, and that's for me. Well, Alistair's refer. So this is 2003, I think, this one, and you're referring back out to like stuff from like the early 90s, and it does sound quite a lot earlier. But it's one of the stronger albums from like the second half of the career. This Country on the Click. It's definitely a very good album to get into if you want to listen to kind of that mid to late period stuff. Yeah, Stuart says green-eyed, sort of laid back and swaggering. Makes me think of Britpop in a weird way, but not shit. I like this one a lot, and it's probably the best single-worthy track on the album, but it's eclipsed by the weirder stuff, in my opinion. The murky break in the middle really elevates it through a proper bit of weirdness that sort of drops a bomb on the proceedings. Good. To wear Chanel, you have to shave first, and vain man, where do you stand? A green-eyed loco man. Where you're standing, I don't see you. Reflected green eyes take 2 foot off you. I'm moving fast. Your fractured eyes force me through the night and riddle me this. Who are you? Through a helmet your hair grows right to the ground that will soon enfold you. Green-eyed loco man, where do you stand? There's a really good version of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which I don't think is made by Nigel Neal, the same guy that made the Quatermass, but I think there's something in there, and I always think, because that was on telly, like a lot earlier than this, maybe early 80s. But I always wondered with this whether obviously green-eyed local man, green-eyed as in jealous or something like that, or loco is crazy. It's an interesting. I don't know what he's kind of alluding to. But interesting images.
I do like that. Is it to wear Chanel you've got to share? I like that a lot. Yeah.
It's true.
Good starter, yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
You're clearly not wearing any Chanel, are you, Brendan?
No, it's been a while, to be honest. Let me play you a little bit of the Peel session version, and you can see whether it's better or worse. There's actually a really early version called Lodio that was released as well, so I'll play a bit of that too. First, you can watch some Lego Fortnite. If you are here because you've seen the title of our podcast, Fallout, and you still haven't realized that it isn't about the radioactive video game, this is for you.
10, bottom city, bottom came out, serpentine in a marble sepulchre, chasing me up the beach. I said goodbye to my boyhood. I said goodbye to my green hood and the red hood and the green. The way rocks rock, shock.
That version's way better, that Lodio, that early one there. Very nice.
I was beginning a bit reminding me of something like Money, something that's just like a rhythm to it. The kind of thing.
Well, the Appeal Session has a cover version of Mr. Blow, the 70s kind of one-hit wonder thing. So that's what they played first, grooving with Mr. Blow, and then they segued into that. Yeah. All righty. So, have you told me what you think? You've already told me, haven't you? And Lee's told me. Everyone's told me at this point, and Stu's told me. So that means we're going on to what it's up against, which is Mike loves Xexagon. Oh, hold on. That's not any of those. That's all mine going by the pretty things. Apparently, somebody said that sounds like a Green-Eyed Loco Man. I actually think it sounds more like Mike Loves Xexagon, which was weird because I was playing it. I was like, this sounds more like the other tune. So I'm going to play a bit more of that. Does it sound like Green-Eyed Loco Man, or does it sound like Xexagon? Nice tune there. All right, let's have a listen to Mike Love of the Beach Boys, Xexagon, Sexy Zone.
Old member sat on one side, opposite three boat triplets. I stood in the middle, fumbling with 2 tin packets. When I died, when I died, when I died. Try separation on installment will break at the armrest. When I died, when I died.
A little bit of Pro Tools mischief going on there, I think, to get Smith in line with the beat. Lee, what did Mike Loves Xexagon do for you?
I really liked it. I mean, I probably should have listened more to the music, but I was listening to the lyrics, which I love, because I suppose like most well-rounded people, I really dislike Mike Love, and it makes it quite easy to do that, like James Corden, and it makes it quite simple to do that. Because I remember him going on. In fact, I'm going to go on a tangent in. I'm sorry, on about records. I remember Alice years ago coming out of Allen's with a tribute to the beach to Brian Wilson. I think it was a Smiles. No, was it? Am I getting you confused? Smiles, Vibes and Harmony.
Oh, that one, yeah, I've got that. Yeah, it's got Sonic Youth on it doing. There must be an answer or something. Is it?
Yeah, I know there's an answer. I know there's an from Bed
And
Sounds.
those now, yeah, that was a really good version actually.
Yeah, actually, Sonic Youth did that, like Carpenter's tribute as well, Superstar.
They did, yeah.
I've always liked that song, actually, to be honest.
That's good.
Yeah, I've got that Smells Vibes and Harmonies. It was a bargain bin at Allen's, like £3.
I love absolutely love the Beach Boys, and yeah, as we all know, Mike Love absolute disgrace in that sense. And
Brendan, can you find that? Was it when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall
I
of
got it
Fame?
right here. I'm going to play it when he goes on about how shitty Mick Jagger is. Is it the Jagger one?
Oh, is that when he's on stage with Jagger and he's...
So he goes on stage and he basically talks about Mick Jagger's like not showing up and he's a coward or whatever and he's a shit. And then like Jagger's on stage doing Satisfaction and Mike Love's next to him with this like sheepishly banging this tambourine and Jagger's clearly pissed off and he's right next to him like going for it. I'm going to play it for the benefit of the people in the room. You listeners at home will just get the audio, but you'll get it.
Brilliant.
I know Mick Jagger won't be here tonight. He's gonna have to stay in England. But I'd like to see us in the Coliseum and him Lemley Stadium because he's always been chicken shit to get on stage with the Beach Boys.
Just ask Mick Jagger. He'll tell you all about me. Anyway.
Mr. Budget.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, this.
$1,350!
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I like the bit when he starts talking in Japanese.
Mick Jagger won't.
Fucking Mike Love. Mike, on the Pet Sounds, I did a song once called Mike Love is the only one not feeding the animals because he's on the front cover of Pet Sounds. He's the only one that's like, no, this is for me. These are Mike Love's snacks.
He started doing, he's definitely not into feeding the animals. It's only do some sort of safari type thing where you're going shooting at them.
Probably, I wouldn't put it past him. Fucking Mike Love.
I think he has done that, yeah.
Anyway, Alistair, what do you think of this song, Mike Love's Xexagon?
It's bloody brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, like you said, heavily Pro Tools up, like, but you know, there's a lot of advantages that they get from it. But yeah, it really reminds me of Dose. With the guitar and the way the drums, well, just everything, the way it sounds like this. I don't know if the Dose guys were. I think they've been well gone by that.
Oh, well done, because that Dose stuff they work with them on Levitate, which is 97, so like 6 or 7 years earlier. But I get you absolutely. It's very heavily processed guitar and drums and everything's chopped up in Pro Tools, but it does work. I don't know.
Yeah, some of the sounds that they get in there, like I love the in the red kind of like drum sounds. Quite often I'll go on about like sticking in their head, and this is the kind of thing that I think it works. Like, but yeah, and then guitar starts doing stuff that really reminds me of Slint, like Hello, the progression in Hello Captain,
right?
Yeah, and then you get some like nice distorted delay guitar stuff, which remind me a bit of like some John Spencer blues explosion stuff, but yeah, you got the Pro Tools heavy with the vocals, full of noise at the end with the guitar. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, sweet stuff. And I do think, I imagine that whether or not those Beach Boys style harmonies at the beginning was what came before or after the idea for Mike Love. I'm not sure. Yeah, beautiful stuff. And I just wondered whether it was Grant Showbiz who was chopping it up or whether it was one of the lads in the band who was kind of putting it in all the right place. But you've done well. I mean, it's almost like you can actually tell because the line "When I Die," which becomes the chorus, it appears in the verse like halfway, like the second half, and you're like, oh. That's where I first realized. I mean, obviously it's chopped because he says exactly the same every time. But I was like, oh, that's what they've done. So some clever person was like, oh yeah, that'll sound good there. And which is an unusual kind of way to do it, and not unlike we've likened it a little bit to kind of Miles Davis with his Teo Macero would like take multiple tracks and like Bitches Brew is essentially made by him out of like 4 or 5 different track songs. I don't know many other bands that do that were.
A bit like Willie Burroughs' style of writing as well, you know, the cut and paste kind of thing.
Well, it works because of Smith's style as well, right? Because it wouldn't make sense if it was a bit more linear. So Stu says, love this one a lot. That redlining beat, panning vocals, and pokey guitar stabs have do something to me that is not elsewhere replicated. Is a real highlight of the latter half of the catalogue, and drips with menace and mysticism. It's a world I could live in, like a seductive, nightmarish vision of something lovely. It's underneath it, it's a couple of steps more removed from the rock chugger. So there's definitely clearly still a rock song under there, or a poppy indie rocky song under there, but it's not. It's a little bit less generic, a little bit more interesting. Yeah. Anything else to add, chaps, on that one?
I don't know if it's anything to add, but just lyrics. I don't know whether because it was Pro Tools and it's less opaque, to use that phrase again, but just great lines like "Your gift was only poise," brilliant. And when the cat's away, the mice will play. I'm assuming that's when Brian was unwell and he was gone, and they kind of like Carl Wilson stepped up then and stuff like that, but probably gave Mike, everyone's favourite fella, Love, a bit more leeway, didn't it?
Well, it was, wasn't it? Actually, I was just listening. So there's I don't know if you've heard that podcast, The History of Rock. In 500 songs.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
He's just doing a Beach Boys episode here, a later one when they transitioned out of Smile into basically when they turned into basically Elton John, where everyone other than Ryan was writing songs, right? And they're all kind of like chug along, kind of sail on, and Holland and all those records.
I quite like the Trader from Holland, one of Carl's songs. I didn't mind the Trader. That was all right.
I actually thought that those are good records, but they're not Beach Boys records in the same sense. It's not like yeah.
It's not the Beach Boys if you've not got Charles Manson there, and you might have noticed that they did drop off quite a bit after Manson got locked up.
Yeah, he was the real influence there. That's what that episode's about, actually, because they were demoing him. They demoed him in the studio. They were about to sign him to their label, and then bad shit went down.
Track from 2020 was a Cease to Exit or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That was one of Charlie's songs, wasn't it? I think.
Indeed, yeah. Because Dennis was his big mate for a while, and
He was in the Bullet to Dennis or something like that. Was it?
Yeah. No, he did. Yeah, he was. He went, and I think Dennis beat the shit out of him. Apparently, from the start. The story is that. Mike's gift was only poison. The German word for poison is gift. So I wonder if it's a coincidence. Listen while I tell this tale of Worm, the worm in the bacon of BB. His name was Love. But how were they to know Mike's gift was only poison? When I died, love was all around. When I died, Captain I, peculiar wind. The plots came thick and fast, satanic meditations, shadowy missions. So hoist his music on the mast. There's a Sloop John B reference. Look at the worm in the bacon, good vibrations, man. To be honest, these are as on the nose as Smith got. It's clearly very specifically about my love and the Beach Boys, which is great because I certainly do love the Beach Boys and the Fall. So, where can you go wrong?
Brendan, I still don't know what a Xexagon is, though.
I don't know either, but I'm prepared to give him that one. Which way are we going, though? Are we going for Mike Love or are we going for Green Eyed Lee? Which way?
For me, Mike Love, hands down.
Easy, innit? Same for me, Alistair.
Easy peasy, easy.
Stuart has given Green Eyed Loco Man 2 points and Mike Love 99 points out of 3, so that's pretty straightforward. And Michael E has come on board for 1, and he said he's gone for Mike Love's Xexagon. Although he has said on another day he could have gone for the exact opposite, so who knows? So there we go. Hittite Man all the way through, Lay of the Land, and Mike loves Xexagon, and that puts out Psykick Dancehall, Green Eyed Loco Man, and Taking Off go in the bin, never to be heard of again. And you know the rule, that means we can't listen to them anymore, and that goes for you, Lee. So those songs, I'm gonna it's a trust-based system, but you must never listen to any of them again for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Thanks for coming along, Lee. It's been a pleasure.
No, thanks for having me, lads. I know I'm an ignoramus when it comes to the old fall, but it's been nice to speak to you and see you again, to be honest with you.
It's been great having you on.
Very good. I appreciate, you putting the time and having a listen and giving us your thoughts. It's always good to someone who's clearly a music lover and has many years steeped in. But this is good when you see these new things, and I hope that it sets you off listening. You have a listen to some of those records and see. And you're very welcome back. You know, when we get into round 3, a few 6 months time or whatever. You know, if you're around, you're very welcome.
Aficionado by, and we've
I hope so. Yeah.
I've got a bit of catching up to do on it, let's be honest. But no, gee, it's good to see the time difference as well. As Alistair having his breakfast, me drinking wine.
Yeah. I'm in the middle. It's 8:30 here. So, thank you very much.
Oh, thanks a lot, lads.